Hello and welcome to the Warm Mat. My name is Shayna, and today in this video we are going to learn about Ustrasana, camel pose. It is one of those poses that as a teacher watching a lot of my students get into can be kind of terrifying to get into and come out of. There's just so much room for injury in the camel pose that I feel that this is one of the most important videos to watch. So let's get started. One of the biggest things that you need to keep in mind when you're doing the camel pose is that your back, your lower back in particular, needs to be warmed up. So if you're ever practicing on your own, this is the kind of pose that you do at the end of your practice, not at the beginning, because you're just not going to be open enough unless you're already quite flexible or a very, very regular yoga practitioner. And I always like to, when I'm teaching a class, do a little bit of preparation in terms of opening up through the hip flexors, the fronts of your thighs, and coming into the back bend first. So a really good place to start is just by placing your palms on the small of your back and pulling your shoulder blades together, pulling your elbows together, looking forward just at eye level, and just starting to bend backwards and to look slightly up. What this first sort of preparation posture does is it helps to keep you focused on the fact that your hips need to stay over your knees. So the full posture of camel, your fingertips are back, and most people will be doing this. And you're really not getting the back bend here. You're not getting the opening through the front of your chest. You're not getting the opening through your hip flexors because basically you're just using your arm strength to hold you up a little bit further back here. So with your hands on the small of your back, when you start off, it's just sitting on your knees here, you can feel when you start to go back. So you can use your hands to keep pressing yourself forward and then opening up through the chest and bending back. So this is a really great place to start, or even just to end. If you're still new to yoga, if you have limited flexibility through the front of your chest or any kind of back injury, just staying here, you get 90% of the benefits. And you do end up actually working your core a lot as well. If you're going to go into the full camel pose, I would also suggest starting off with your toes tucked under, just to get used to it. That gets your heels a little bit further off the ground so you don't have to reach as far. And then when you're in the pose, if you feel like you've got more space, more flexibility, then to slowly untuck the toes or just do camel once more with the toes untucked. So I like to start here again with your hands on the hips, looking slightly up, starting to bend back and press your hips forward. And then slowly reaching back for your heels, seeing if you can find them, drawing the shoulder blades together, looking up, and if you don't have any injury to your neck, letting your head drop all the way back. And you also want to be mindful of the fact that you don't have weight in your fingertips. I'm basically just holding on to my heels to be mindful of keeping the front of my chest open. So the other more challenging aspect of camel is coming out of camel. So you have a real possibility of hurting your neck. So what I like to do is to bring the hands back onto the hips, to engage your core muscles, keep your head back, keep it exactly as it is. Don't move it. Slowly lift yourself up. You can untuck your toes, come to sit down, and then bring your head back to normal. And a really, really wonderful Counter pose is child's pose, just bringing your forehead to the floor. So you can come right from camel all the way forward, keeping your head back, just coming all the way forward, keeping it back until you're right at the floor, and then just releasing the forehead down. This is not really enough of a counter pose, child's pose in my mind. For camel, you really do need to stretch out and lengthen a little bit more. So I generally like to come into downward facing dog as well afterwards. And in this pose, it definitely is a great counter pose for the neck as well, because in child's pose, you're just sort of resting here. You want to have something that allows your head and neck a little bit of rest, so downward facing dog, or standing forward fold, or the like, and just being really mindful of your lower back and your neck in that pose. So that's Ustrasana, camel pose. Thank you for joining me on the worn mat. My name is Shayna. See you next time.